So in this video, let's talk about visiting Mallorca in October for 2025. We're going to talk about the weather. We're also going to be talking about big changes happening over in Magaluf. Plus, we're going to talk about events and also what it's going to be like getting around the island. And of course, I'm going to let you know the changes as well that are going to be coming into place over at Palma Airport. But I'm starting this video over here in Alcudia Beach Resort. I'm also filming down here today as well, so consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already to catch that video, just on the off chance you're actually booked to come over here during the month of October. Watch that video, it will be out soon. But first, we're going to talk about the very, very important subject of the weather. So I've had a lot of questions, not only on the live streams but also on the channel, asking me what the weather is going to be like in October for this year. Now, we have woken up today to a little bit of a temperature drop. Autumn is officially here in Mallorca, but at the same time you can see we've got some amazing weather here as we edge our way through the end of September at time of filming. And well, October is just a fantastic time to visit the island, so please don't worry too much if you're coming over. But the one thing I'm going to say is that peak season is over, and the really high temperatures that we've had this summer, these have now passed, and we're now facing much more varied temperatures. So if you are coming over, the first thing I'm going to say is pack a variety of clothing. Pack a coat, pack jumpers, pack long trousers, and pack a pair of jeans. Pack some trainers as well, but also bring plenty of summer wear too. The highs that we can expect temperature wise are of around 23 degrees, but we are going to get days where it's going to be a lot warmer than that. And I have known in previous years we've had highs of 28 degrees in October. Lows that we're going to get of daytime lows are going to be in a region of around 20 degrees ish. Evening temperatures we're going to have around the 15-16 degree mark, so make sure you're packing something to wear out on the evening as well. It's not going to be as hot as it is in the summer, but the big advantage to these slightly cooler temperatures is that it's going to give you an opportunity to get up and get out and explore the island further. And of course, October signals the beginning of the hiking season as well. It means we've got plenty of hiking routes over here on the island, and even if you're staying, say, over here in Alcudia, one of the coolest things you can do is maybe walk in the direction of Camp Picafort and get the bus back as well. Go and enjoy some restaurants on the way in case you don't have such a nice day that you can actually go to the beach. So sunrise times around 7:15-ish, heading towards 7:30. Sunset times are going to be around 7 p.m-ish, maybe a little bit later. So just bear that in mind. You're going to have about a 12-hour day, and like I said, with the cooling of the temperatures, you're going to find the mornings to be a lot cooler than they normally would do during the summer months. You're going to find the evenings to be a lot cooler too. But I also have to say as well that October signals the time of the year where we do start to get the really spectacular sunsets too. So make sure you're in a really cool place at sunset time, particularly if you've got a little bit of clouds on the island, and grab yourself a drink and sit back and watch that, because I mean, this is the time of year when we do get the spectacular sunset starting. Another big question as well I have had about water temperature as well. Can you go swimming in the swimming pools over here in Mallorca in the hotels? And what's the sea temperature like? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that the swimming pools are going to start to feel a bit cold at this time of year. They do cool down because, well, we will have had some showers, we will have had some storms rolling through September. It does cool down the swimming pools as well, particularly as the nighttime temperature is going to be a lot cooler. Your best bet for swimming at this time of year, particularly if you have small kids, is either bring a wetsuit over with them or get one here, or swim in the sea, because the sea temperatures do tend to maintain a pretty reasonable level actually as we go on through the winter. Don't know why that is, but it is still possible to swim here over in October, and you're going to find swimming in the sea to be a lot warmer than swimming in the pools. But anyway, let's pick the camera up. We're going to head on down the beach, and we're going to talk about some other big news that you need to know about if you're visiting Mallorca in October. So we've just made our way along Alcudia Beach a little bit further just before hitting the Playa de Morro. But next up, travelling to Mallorca in October, the big talking point actually for October is going to be the introduction of the EES. That's the entry and exit system, which starts on the 12th of October. Now, you may well know that I made a full video about this, explaining that the advice from the UK government as well, and just going through their website. If you haven't seen that video and you're travelling in October to anywhere in Europe, actually watch it. Please watch it. I'll drop a link to it in the description text below. But there are a few key things that you need to know, and that is that it's going to take a phased approach. So only around 10% of people are going to be asked to register their biometric data if they're entering into Mallorca or into Spain or into wherever you're going in Europe, if you're travelling from a third country, so from the United Kingdom. Will you expect huge delays at the airports? Well, I doubt it. I really hope not, actually. As you know, we're probably expecting what's going to be a very busy October here in Mallorca. I think we're going to have a busy end to the holiday season. So it's going to be a phased approach, which will start in October and then gradually increase as we head on towards the beginning of peak season next April. So if you are coming in, fingers crossed, you should have a smooth-ish passage through the airport. However, I do have some more very important information for you, because at time of filming, I still have news of the air traffic control strikes over France, which are being programmed for the 7th to the 10th of October, and that's inclusive of those days. Will they go ahead? Well, I really hope not. Like I keep saying, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I will try and bring you an update about these strikes. Hopefully they will be cancelled before they take place, but if you are travelling on these days, expect chaos at the airports. I did make a video all about that as well. These strikes have been postponed from September, and they do look like they are going to be taking place on those days in October. Also, as well, the Azul workers' strikes that have been ongoing now since August, and these take place in Spain every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday over at the airport, and these are programmed to take place until the 31st of December this year. Have they caused too much hassle, too much trouble travelling? They haven't really impacted travel too much. I have, however, seen baggage halls looking quite busy, so I would say if you can just travel with cabin baggage, get yourself a vacuum packer for your luggage and maybe save on time at the airports. But so far I haven't seen a massive disruption regarding the Azul strikes taking place. But you know, with this combined with the air traffic control strikes, those few days could look well, they don't look too fun over at the airport. But I'll try and keep you posted about that, and fingers crossed it's not going to be too bad. Okay, so what else can we expect if you're coming over to Mallorca in October? Well, the next big topic is going to be travelling around the island and getting around the island, because, well, with the whole mix of weather that we're having, expect cloudy days, expect the occasional rainy day as well. And with the cloudy days, expect bus stops to be extremely busy. I would say that if you are staying on the east coast of the island here, so maybe Puerto Poyensa down to Calador, it may actually be worth renting a car to help you get around on these like cloudy and rainy days. And driving around this time of the year on this side of the islands is normally pretty much traffic free. It shouldn't really be a problem getting around. The only pain points are really going to be, as they always are, around the Palma area, and coming up from Santa Ponsa, Magaluf, Palma Nova in the direction of Palma Airport in the afternoons. Traffic is still pretty bad then as well, around the rush hours as well, so just bear that in mind. We still have heavy traffic during those times, and particularly going through the month of October, particularly during the final rush that we have for the holiday season. So don't forget as well, getting around the island is very, very easy using public transport. You've got the red and yellow TIB buses, you've got the blue EMT buses for Palma municipality, and it's really, really easy to use those. I do have various guides. I'll drop a link to a video in the description text below, so go and check that out if you're looking to get around. So talking about the weather, actually, I've just had to switch up the camera angle because as the sun comes round, it's actually very, very hot. We don't have a particularly hot day today. We've actually got about 21 degrees at time of filming, but the minute the sun gets on you, it's very, very hot. So just to let you know, even though I talked about the weather, it's not going to be as cool as you may think, particularly in the sunshine. Anyway, what else have we got going on during the month of October? Well, I have to alert you to what's going on over in Magaluf because I have been asked about it, and we're talking about the start date of the renovations on the second half of Magaluf Beach. Now, I have been in touch with Calvia Town Hall, and they as of yet have not given me a date for when those works will start. You may remember last year, to the surprise of many holidaymakers who are actually over here kind of in the final weeks of the holiday season, to find that when they went down to Magaluf Beach, they found diggers on the beach and the work started in advance of the season finishing. Is that going to happen this year? Well, Well, I'd like to think not, but they haven't responded to my email. If I do hear from anything, I shall let you know. Like I said, subscribe to the channel for the latest information about that. But I do hope I hear something soon, just to prepare you for if you're coming over here to the islands, and particularly if you're staying in the Magaluf area. Now, those works are going to be affecting the second half of the beach, from the start point of Robinson Crusoe's all the way down to the Caribou Beach Club, and they're going to be digging up that path and making it look as beautiful as the rest of the path was made to look on the other half of the beach, and the possibility as well of also building more dunes too. If you want to see what Magaluf beachfront looks like now, if you haven't been over to the island for quite a while, I'll also drop a link to a video that I made over there just a couple of weeks ago. You can check it out. But when those works start, it's going to mean that the businesses on that side of the beach are going to pretty much have to close for the season. Fingers crossed it's going to start in November, but like I said, last year they did have an unexpected start to those works, so fingers crossed it's not going to happen this year. Okay, so events. What have we got going on in Mallorca during the month of October? And even if you're not partaking in these events, they may well affect your stay, because we have the TUI Palma Marathon taking place on October the 19th. And this is the marathon actually that takes place through Palma's historic centre and seafront. Don't pick that day for visiting Palma, basically. If you're planning in advance, don't go to Palma on that particular day, because very much of the old town is going to be closed off, the seafront's going to be closed off, and traffic is absolutely horrible on that day as well. So maybe if you're not taking part in the marathon on that day, give the city a miss. Same goes as well on October the 18th, the half marathon challenge over in Peguera is also taking place. It's a triathlon, and it takes place in the Peguera Calvia area, and we're going to find road closures in that area too. You're going to need to know about this, particularly if you're travelling to and from the airport independently, so also bear that in mind. If you're sightseeing around the islands, that might not be a day to go to Peguera, unless of course you're taking part in the challenge. If you are taking part in either the challenge at Peguera or also the Palma Marathon, good luck, let me know how you get on. Also, what else is taking place as well? Alcudia Fair in 2025. We've got the Feria d'Alcudia taking place on October the 3rd, and it's basically a traditional charity cooking show. It's for the benefit of the Spanish Association Against Cancer, taking place on Plaza Carlos V, and that's just across the way from where the Alcudia market is held, right in front of the Porta Mole, so the big entranceway to Alcudia. So that should be actually quite nice if you're over here visiting. Go and check that out. What else though? What else can you expect if you're coming over to Mallorca during the month of October? Well, don't forget that all the markets and the tourist resorts will continue until the 31st of October. We still have plenty of markets on across the island in winter season as well, but just be reassured that everything is still going to be taking place in October. However, we are going to find some restaurants closing early during the month of October. I find it every single year. It depends on the size of the restaurant. Some of the really big restaurants in resorts may close ahead of the 31st of October. It depends how many customers they're getting through the month of October as well, as to whether or not they stay open. Also, you're going to find as well that some places aren't as well stocked as others. As we're coming towards the end of the holiday season, some places may not keep really high stocks of food and drink throughout, until the end of the season. So just also bear that in mind. But what about attractions in Mallorca during the month of October? Well, the good news is that most things will be open until the end of October, except for the water parks. Now, I don't have dates for the closures of Aqualand or Western Water Park. I do encourage you to check on their website before you book. And well, obviously if it's closed, it won't allow you to book. But the good news is that if you are wanting to visit a water park, if the temperatures do stay very warm on the north side of the islands, come over here to Hydro Park in Alcudia, because this will pretty much stay open as long as the Club Mac Hotel stays open. But unfortunately, Agualand and Western Water Park normally close within the first week or so of October. But that's not to say there isn't plenty to do on the island. But I do have a video all about the top 10 things that you can do if you're visiting Mallorca, and it's still possible to take plenty of boat excursions, boat trips. The sea is still warm. We've got Palmer Aquarium, we've got the House of Kathmandu, we've got various shows taking place on the island as well. We've got loads going on here, plus shopping centres as well. There's loads going on for you to enjoy if you're coming over here on holiday, as well as all the sightseeing around the old towns as well. So check out that video in the description, text below if you're coming over, and don't worry too much just because we're coming to the end of the holiday season. And finally, just because we're coming to the end of the holiday season in Mallorca for 2025 on the 31st of October, it doesn't mean to say that tourism is over on the islands until the beginning of April next year, because, well, this island offers a lot for a fantastic winter break, including plenty of sunshine, really quiet beaches, and an altogether fantastic, traditional, amazing experience. If you want to follow what Mallorca is like in winter, consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, also under Mallorca Under the Sun, and I'll drop a couple of other helpful videos appearing both here and here on YouTube. And don't forget as well, we've got Christmas coming up as well, and the big Christmas markets that we have in Palma. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Watch out for my video from Alcudia as well. I shall publish a link to that in the description text below, and I shall see you on the next video. Goodbye for now.